Hey, today after watching this video, you'll know how to make Sopa de Trigo. It's basically a whole wheat berry soup, very popular in Madeira Island. A soup that's just really hearty, great winter soup, and just a delicious, really hearty soup with a lot of vegetables. There's many variations. This variation is going to have some pork and also some sausage in it. Okay, the first thing I did for this recipe is 24 hours, 24 hours in advance, you want to soak your wheat kernels, your wheat berries. I couldn't find these in the store, like everything nowadays. I did find this 2-pound package on Amazon. I've been soaking these overnight for about 24 hours. The next thing I'm going to do is I have some pork stew meat. So this is pork shoulder. It doesn't have to be a fancy cut of pork. In fact, probably cuts of pork that have a little more fat in it or better. So this will season for about 30 minutes while I'm getting the rest of the soup together. Okay, now we're going to put in the chicken stock. A lot of the original recipes will just use water. Water obviously doesn't have much flavor, so I always tend to go with chicken stock if you have it, or you could use water and chicken bouillon. I'm actually going to use a combination of those two. You need about 2 liters of liquid to start off with. I have about 1 liter of stock and about 1 liter of water. Since I added 1 liter of water, I'll put in about a teaspoon of chicken bouillon to start off with. Maybe I'll add more a little later. Okay, I drained my wheat berries through this sieve. Put those in there. And now I'm going to warm up the soup just because, the wheat berries are probably the ingredient that takes the longest to become tender and cooked with this soup, so I'll get that going right away. Chop up my garlic. Leeks, especially during the winter, could have a lot of dirt in them. These don't look bad, but what happens is the dirt enters the top of the leek. As you go down the leek, it gets tighter and tighter. And so things like sometimes during the winter, you'll just see a ton of sand. It looks like the leek has been hanging out in Kale and Madeira of all the sand you would see in a leek. So make sure you clean those thoroughly. And the easiest thing, just cut it in half, then cut it in segments like this. And then after, put it in a pot with water and drain it. So many variations, besides in this soup, you don't want to leave out the wheat berries. But again, if you don't have leeks, you could use onions. Soups are delicious, and at the same time, they're cleaning out your fridge type of meals. You don't always see the pork and pork sausage in there, but I had extra smoked Portuguese pork sausage, so I'm going to put that in there since I have it. Another thing this recipe has that I wasn't able to find is pipinelas, which are also in the US known as coyotes. They're kind of popular in Latin America. They're kind of a prickly type of potato, cucumberish vegetable that is often seen in this dish. Now I'm going to peel I believe these are called semilhas or batatas. They're basically a white sweet potato. Now you want to chop up your squash. So now you want to take some orange squash. A lot of times these are called gourds or abóbora, and just clean out the inside from all the seeds. The stock and wheat berries have been simmering for about 25-30 minutes while I have been getting all the other ingredients ready. The next thing that'll take the longest is carrots, so I'll put the carrots in here. Potatoes. I'll put this back on the stove to simmer and we'll saute our pork. Put 5 bay leaves in the soup. If you don't have bay leaves, that's okay. Also, other herbs that go well in here are oregano and thyme. Okay, now I will put in some oil, probably just about a teaspoon of oil to get the pork going. So put my extra virgin olive oil, probably about a tablespoon. Put in my leeks. Put in my garlic. Yeah, it smells so good. You know, a lot of people when they make soup, they just dump everything into the water. I just think you get more flavor doing these extra little steps of sauteing things separately. It just adds, you know, helps get some of the caramelization in the vegetables. And also I like seasoning as I go. You know, as I saute these vegetables, I will season them, and it just helps me build the recipe in layers. Now I'm going to put in the cloves or collard greens. Okay, after all your ingredients have been sauteing for about 10 minutes, season it well with salt, some black pepper, and now I'm going to add in the butter beans. You could add this directly to the soup or to the vegetables that are going to be put into the soup. Okay, here's our pot of soup, and it's good to taste. Even I want to taste it before I add in all the vegetables, just to see if the stock has enough flavor. Wow, that's really good. It has the sweetness from the carrots you really could taste in there. Now I will add in the sausage and cooked pork. Okay, everything goes in there. And now I'll add in the vegetables. So give it a stir. And again, I think it's important to taste. And at this point, it's good to taste like one of the potatoes that's fully cooked and one of the carrots, and that's fully cooked. This is done. I mean, you could eat this just as it is now. I'm gonna let it simmer for another 30 minutes over very low heat. Like most soups, it only gets better with time as flavors marry. I do have more soups that I've made, tomato onion with poached eggs, a sorda, called Verde. Some of those classic Portuguese soups are on my channel, or you could go to my webpage, justcookwithmichael.com. Half of this I'll put in the refrigerator and assume I'm going to eat it like this week. The other half, sometimes I'll freeze little either Ziploc bags or little Tupperware containers. So thanks for joining me. Now you can make Sopa de Trigo. Go out there, cook this, go cook for someone you love.